Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Well, we first told you about the gruesome attack by a Broward Sheriff's Office canine on two street artists back in 2015. Now, after more than 2 years in the courts, Bob Norman, the reporter who broke the story, has a new development in this case. Here's the report.
544 10th Street, please.
Broward Sheriff's deputies moved in at 2 a.m. on Miami street artists Humberto Pellegrino and Pedro Claveria, who were painting graffiti on train cars.
Subjects are possibly laying on the ground, possibly hiding under a train.
Both said that when surrounded by deputies who wrongly suspected theft, they peacefully surrendered. But according to their federal lawsuit, that didn't stop Deputy Davis Acevedo from sicking his canine Dino on the men while they lay face down on the gravel.
They kept saying, like, eat boy, eat boy.
The men told Local 10 after the suit was filed in 2015 that another deputy, Jerry Wingo,
Stop fighting the dog!
a former TV reality star, lifted Pellegrino's leg to prompt the dog to continue mangling him, leaving these gruesome wounds behind.
And I just yelled as loud as I can in agony.
How did it feel when that dog was ripping into you?
Terrifying. I thought they were going to kill me.
Now, after more than 2 years of litigation, BSO has finally settled the case. Cost the taxpayers $175,000 plus legal fees.
I surrendered. They fed me to an animal.
Their attorney, David Brill, said today that he hoped the settlement would prompt BSO to fire Wingert. He has a long history of excessive force complaints, including a pending federal lawsuit in the beating of this man, Kevin Buckler, after Wingert pulled him over for allegedly playing loud music on his radio.
I don't ever want to run into him again. I don't even want to go to Broward County.
BSO had no comment on the case today. As for Deputy Wingert, he remains employed with the department. In Fort Lauderdale, I'm Bob Norman, Local 10 News.
And as for Wingert, he remains on the force.
Eat boy. Eat. Taxpayers shell out $175,000 after cop fed man to his canine. Taxpayers of Broward County were just held accountable for the vicious actions of two of their officers who forced a canine to eat two young men. By Matt Agarist, January 1, 2018. Pompano Beach, Florida street artists Humberto Pellegrino and Pedro Claveria were attacked by police while surrendering after being caught spray painting train cars. According to the artists, they surrendered immediately and never resisted or attempted to run away. Despite the lack of resistance, one of the officers, Detective Davis Acevedo, pointed his gun at them and fed one of the men to his canine unit, Dino. There was a dog and I saw an assault rifle and I was like, oh wow, I think those are the cops, Pellegrino told Local 10 News. We complied, we never tried to run, we never ran an inch from where we were at, he said. The officers' lies just cost the taxpayers of Broward County $175,000 as a result of a lawsuit filed on behalf of Pellegrino. Every time he would latch onto him, they would yank him, the men's attorney, David Brill, said. As Local 10 reports, Brill said he hoped the settlement would prompt BSO to fire Wingert, who has a long history of excessive force complaints, including a pending federal lawsuit in the beating of another man, Kevin Buckler, after Wingert pulled him over for allegedly playing loud music on his radio. Advertisement. They just took something from you, you know? I surrendered, Pellegrino said about his incident with the deputies. They fed me to an animal. According to Local 10, both men said deputies seemed disappointed when they opened up their duffel bag and saw only spray paint and art supplies. Nevertheless, deputies charged all four of the men with burglary and criminal mischief felonies that were later dropped by prosecutors. The men wound up pleading guilty to trespassing, for which they were ordered to pay court costs. Read more, please don't kill me, cops lose it, bash in man's head, choke him for no reason. It's a bold lie, I came out and the first thing I said was, here are my hands, I'm sorry, I give up, Claveria said. They kept saying, eat boy, Pellegrino said. It seems that Acevedo was looking for a fight that evening, so instead of making a simple arrest or writing a citation, he became aggressive with the men, and sicked his dog on them, telling it to eat. It was him ripping into me and gnawing. I've never had an animal attack me that way and it felt like it was never going to stop, Claveria said. The dog left a deep gash in Claveria's arm, which looked like a knife wound that someone would receive during battle. The other officer on the scene, Deputy Gerald Gary Vengert, participated in the attack and allegedly instigated the whole thing. Not surprisingly, Vengert was accused of ordering his dog to attack a suspect in 2013 but was later acquitted of the charge. Pellegrino watched in horror as his friend was attacked by the dog. I was in horror, we weren't resisting and we weren't doing anything, so I was in shock that they would sick the dog on my friend, he said. One said, I think he's ready to eat again, and someone said, oh, I think he's still hungry, Pellegrino told reporters. He then explained that both officers actually held his body so the dog could get a better bite. Vengert lifted my leg in front of the dog's mouth so the dog attached to my leg. Acevedo was behind me with the dog and Vengert was to my left with the assault rifle pointing at me. I just grabbed onto the gravel and started screaming, he explained. Read more. If cops treat their own dogs like this, it is no wonder they shoot everyone else's. He got a really good grip on my leg, right under the knee, and I felt my leg tearing and they kept saying, eat boy, eat boy. Every time he would latch onto me, they would yank him, so not only was I being bit, but I was being torn. So I just yelled as loud as I could in agony. I thought they were going to kill me, either sit here and let this dog eat you or do something stupid and get shot in the head, he said. They were taking pictures with their cell phones inviting all the canine cops to come in there and take a look. Taking pictures, people that weren't even involved in our case, and giggled and chuckled, Claveria said. The men allege that Vengert was the officer that instigated the attack. Vengert once starred in the reality TV show on TLC called Broward K9. I was terrified by this guy, Claveria said. I could see the look in his eye. He just looked like he was an animal just stalking, preying.